Hi, thank you for joining us. I'm Jonathan Thomas, and today we are joined by Austin Resource Recovery Director Richard McHale. Richard, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hey, Jonathan, thank you for inviting us to come speak today. We're really excited about being able to tell our message to everyone on your podcast today.
Yeah, well, thank you all. You're our first guest, so we're getting started off right here. Austin Resource Recovery, or ARR for short, of course. People may see the name or, hear those letters. What exactly does your department do? Because not everybody knows exactly what, all goes into resource and recovery here in the city.
Sure. So Austin Resource Recovery is the city's solid waste utility. So we do trash collection, recycling collection, curbside compost collection. We do cleanups after major storm events like we had with Winter Storm Mara. We do cleaning of the downtown, the business district. We clean up illegal dumping sites around the city.
A lot of people don't realize what you do. You said it perfectly right there. And, you all are the city keepers.
Yes, absolutely.
Good job is to keep the city clean. So you all have, a few big, few big things are happening with your department. One of the big news items, of course, is a new collection requirement for multifamily properties regarding your composting. So that, of course, is apartment complexes, duplexes, townhomes, etc. So what are some things you want people to know about that and the new requirements?
Yeah, well, so this kind of touches on the universal recycling ordinance that I just mentioned. So this was kind of the latest phase of that ordinance. And so in October of 2024, there was a requirement that multifamily complexes, and that can be, apartments or townhomes, condos, those type of properties, up to fourplex, more than fourplexes, had to provide commercial compost collection at their facilities. So in addition to trash and recycling, it had to be able to be available to the residents of that complex. So this was the first time any community had done this in Texas. So this is really big. So this basically puts all the infrastructure out there and gives everyone equal access to be able to participate in these programs to divert a lot of these materials from the landfill, because a lot of that material that is end up in landfills is compostable. So we want to get that out and be able to turn that into compost and other materials that can be put back on the property instead of having it buried and generating methane and other negative environmental aspects of that. So we see this as a great program. There's certain requirements. They have to have it within 25 feet of their trash and recycling, just so that everyone knows it's there in that same area. So it's been, something we kicked off in October. And so as properties get more aware of it, we're finding people are submitting their documentation to prove that they're in compliance with the ordinance.
And just once again, you have to have it within 25 feet of whatever collects.
Right. So you don't want it to, because we find, if you just have a landfill type container somewhere and you have recycling or a compost container elsewhere on the property, folks aren't going to go search for it, right? They're going to just find the easiest container to put it in. So we want to make sure all those containers are in the same area so folks have the option to be able to divert that material before we have to landfill it.
Now, what are some of the requirements that the properties need to meet?
Yeah, so they have an annual reporting program that they have to do. So they submit a report to us on an annual basis. They have to provide education to their residents. So within 30 days of someone moving in, or even a new hire, within 30 days of that new hire at that complex, they have to be educated on the program. And then that's a continuous thing every year, kind of an annual refresher. There's also requirements that we asked for labeling on containers, so folks know the correct items that go in those containers. So just a lot of administrative type things, and kind of help the program, reduce contamination, any other negative impacts of it, because we want the program to be successful. So we want to make it easy as possible for folks to be able to use.
Yeah, we want everyone on the same page.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely. Now, what happens if, I live somewhere and they don't offer a composting collection? How would I then be able to do this?
So I say the first step would be go ahead and contact your association at your apartment or your condos and just, ask them when, you're going to be getting that service because it is a requirement if you're inside the full purpose limits of the city. So that service should be there. If you don't get an answer or something like that, you can always call 311 to inquire about that, and then we can get in touch with our department, and we can kind of help help educate that complex on the requirements of the ordinance. So we're able to get them in compliance and also provide that service to the folks that are living in that property.
I'm sure we will be saying this a lot. Yeah, call 311. And it's always a good number to call. Now, what resources has the city provided these multifamily properties, apartment complexes, et cetera, to help meet the new requirements here for this?
Yeah, so we've done things like prepared pre-made templates of kind of messaging that the complexes can give to their residents to kind of educate them about the program. We have online resources for those complexes, also those properties, as far as signage that they can have out there. So everyone has kind of a common understanding of the language of, what materials are going in there. So those are just some of the aspects of how we can do. And like I said, we have a business outreach team too. So, our team can reach out to those folks and talk to them if they do have further questions about how to be in compliance with the ordinance.
How big is this? Is the department?
How big is
Austin Resource Recovery? It seems like you all have a lot of people to get, because this is a big job you all have.
It is a big job. This particular group is a very small group, right. So that's why we want to try to get folks to comply with it, because we really don't want to have to take any other actions on folks in order to get their compliance. So. Because we don't have a big group doing this. Overall, the department has about 530 folks, but the majority of those folks working more on the operations side and doing collection of trash and recycling and those type things. So we have a very small group that works on this program.
Now, you all, the city rolled out a new on-demand system for collecting big bulk items and hazardous waste items. What can you tell us about these the services for on-demand collecting of these big items and hazardous waste items as well?
So, Jonathan, first of all, I've been with the department almost 32 years now, and this has been one of the projects that I really wanted to get kind of pushed over the finish line there. It's something that folks have been asking about for a long time, and it's an on-demand program that allows folks to basically schedule collections of large brush, bulky materials, and also household hazardous waste when it's convenient to them. So previously we had we would send out a mailer. So twice a year you would get a mailer saying, hey, put your brush out on this date. Or you get one for brush, say, put your brush out on this date. And we really didn't have anything for the household hazardous waste. So now the feedback we got from the community was, they did like the program, but it wasn't very convenient to them, because sometimes they'd be having an event at their house when they're supposed to be putting out material, and they didn't want that out there. Sometimes it was scheduled near the holidays or when they were out of town, so they didn't have access to it. So the new system is on demand. And so what folks can do is they can either call into 311, they can use our app. We have a Austin Recycles app that they can utilize, or they can go onto the internet to our webpage and schedule an appointment for to have their material picked up when it's convenient to them. So, and not only that, it's more than twice a year. So now they get more opportunities. So for brush, you get 3 times per year that they call up, which is great, because, we hear these horrible stories of the wildfires out in LA and all the damage out there. And this is a way where folks can start getting all that brush that may be around their property when it's convenient to them to get it up and get that removed, to kind of reduce that wildfire risk, at least to mitigate it. For the bulk, same thing. This is an opportunity for folks to be able to get that material out and get it up. We have a furniture warehouse that we're trying to get up and running, where we hope to be able to get material from not only the public dropping it off, but material that we're getting off the route that may just need a little bit of repair or something like that. And to be able to work on those materials and get those products of couches, chairs, or things that can be fixed and get them back out to the community instead of having it landfilled. So another great opportunity there. The really big one, though, is we've always gone to folks' houses for those two things, but for household hazardous waste we haven't. So this is really big for us for this one, because we just have the one drop-off facility right now. That's kind of on Business Center Drive, kind of in Southeast Austin. So, and what we find is we don't get a whole lot of folks from north of the river that come down. You know, a lot of folks just don't want to make that drive, whether it be traffic or too busy or what have you. So this is a new opportunity for us to be able to get those folks to be able to drop off materials, and they don't have to leave the house. Now they can just call up and leave that stuff, not at the curb, but next to their door. And we'll come and we'll pick that material up. So paints and old batteries I may have, and just household chemicals, cleaners and stuff like that. So, and the big thing about that is it's keeping that material out of the trash, because if folks aren't going to bring it down to the facility there, it's ending up in the trash. And what happens is we end up getting, two materials that are incompatible with each other, and they may start a fire. We get a lot of lithium-ion battery fires that are caused when the trucks compact the trash. They can tear those batteries apart and ignite fires. So we're always cautious of our employee safety and the equipment that we operate. So this now will allow folks to be able to drop that stuff off at their house there, and we'll come and pick that up. So we feel it's a good service. Before, folks that didn't have a vehicle had no way to bring that material to us. So now we have a way for those folks to be able to participate in the program too.
Yeah. And I mean, this is such a big deal, because as you said, it's not only nice to be able to have multiple times a year you can dispose of a lot of junk, so to speak, right? But also it makes sure that junk is separated in a safe way. You hit it right on the head there. A lot of people don't realize that, there are items that can, when they're mixed together, they can cause fires, or they can cause just a lot of other environmental problems. A lot of people just think trash is trash, and that's not exactly the case. And so that's what's so good about this program and the way you guys are doing it, is whenever you have a bunch of stuff you need to get rid of, you can just, you don't have to wait. You can just, as you said, call 311, go to your website. And what was the other way how you can take advantage of this service?
311, the app and the website. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure you do that, because it's important. Now, what are some ways that, folks can stay informed about waste and just everything related to resource recovery?
So we have a really good website. We have a lot of our information on there. So I would recommend that they would check that out. We have our, like I mentioned, the app that we have, which is really good, because the app allows folks to be kind of notified of when their upcoming collections are, but it also allows them to schedule appointments for on-demand services. But there's also a portion of there where they can, if they have a question of whether something is recyclable or not, they can type in the material and it'll tell them basically how to dispose of that item. So a lot of good information on there. We do have zero waste block leaders too, and we're always recruiting those. And these are folks that are just really engaged citizens that live in the community and want to help their neighbors. And so we have a training that we'll bring those folks to, and we'll kind of teach them everything that we kind of do, and then we kind of use them to kind of help communicate the word out to our neighborhoods.
And what's the process for signing up or volunteering to be one of those people?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think they can probably call 311 or contact our department, but I don't know the answer to that. So.
Okay, no, all good. Okay, well, is there anything else you think is important for people to know here? Any other message you want to get out to the public about what your department is doing, what people need to know? What can we do to make everyone else's job easier? What else do you have for us?
Well, if we had another couple hours, I had to have a whole bunch of items I would tell you, but a lot of the big things that I want, first of all, change starts at home. So, if folks really want to make an impact out there and kind of change how we buy things and how we think about the purchases that we make, and, start, getting away from single-use items and getting to more sustainable items. So, instead of having that plastic water bottle, have a cup and just have it filled with water. I mean, just small decisions like that at home really add up. So I would recommend people start there to do that. I know my operators, I would be remiss if I didn't let folks know, please put your carts at least 5 feet apart, because a lot of our trucks are automated and has an arm that comes out, and when the carts are too close, it it takes a little longer to do the work. So if they could do that for us.
And that'll help with the noise too. I know people hate hearing that sound, or just, hey, make sure everything's separated right. Then it'll get them out of there faster.
Absolutely. But no, we're doing a lot of stuff at ARR, a lot of projects that we have going on. So we're really excited about this podcast and the millions of folks that are listening to it right now. And I'm sure our Instagram page is going to get a whole bunch of likes from this. So. But yeah, we're doing great work at the department. We have an excellent team that are so dedicated, and they're really they own this. They want to see this. Our goal is zero waste by 2040, which means a 90% diversion. So we're on our way there. We still have a lot of work to do. We really need the public's help to get us across that finish line.
So Reddit is a very small sample size and can be a toxic one. But I will say, on Reddit, I've seen several people, and they've posted about how this is the best department, they think, because they love the work you all are doing. They've said that they've really heard very little complaints about resource recovery. So, the people, are saying that you all are doing great things. So, just wanted you to know that.
I think that speaks to our community engagement folks and getting the word out like they have. And then the work that the staff does. Winter Storm Mara was a huge undertaking for the department. And the team really worked together well, internally and with other departments. And it really, it was a bad situation, but we made the best of it. So, we're here to serve the community, and we look forward to doing it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Very excited about the new stuff going on around there, the new programs and everything and initiatives. Richard McHale, thank you so much for joining us. Richard McHale, the Austin Resource Recovery Director. That was him. I'm Jonathan Thomas, and have a great day.